Welcome back, Theme Park Thursday friends. I'm so excited that you've chosen to join me for Series 2 of Theme Park Thursday. I know many of you were with me through all 87 episodes, if we count episode 0, of my first series of Theme Park Thursday, where every week I created a new layout in the Walt Disney World vacation album that I did of a trip I took with my 2 adult daughters in March of 2022. When I started this series, I did not think that I would succeed at having a video every single Thursday. I wasn't sure how many videos it would take, but it turned out to be a lot of fun. I have really loved interacting with you guys through the comments, and some of you who I've met in real life now, or who have, we've been Facebook friends or emailing, and that's been really, really fun. And I'm excited to do it again. And I appreciate all of those who encourage me to do it again. I know there are a lot of people who don't go to Disney. I know most people don't go to Disney as often as I have been able to do. It's kind of become my thing, one of the things that I really enjoy doing. But I hope that as we go through this next series, my goal is a couple of things. First, to show you that you can get inspiration from somebody's layout idea, regardless of the subject of your layout. I hope that you will get to see me go through my thought process. I've learned to think out loud. I've learned to change my mind and not like scrap the video and start over. Let you guys see what it's like when I finish a layout, or I think I finished a layout and then I hate it. And most of the time I've been able to go back and turn it into something that I don't hate. One of the other things, the original goal of this whole series when I started, clear back in the beginning of 2024, end of 2023, I don't remember when we started it, was to show you that if you are working on a Disney World or specific theme park album, you don't have to use theme park paper, especially with Disney World. Right? There's so much at Disney World. You can have Frontierland, so you can use Western theme paper. You can have Hall of Presidents, which is Americana. You can have Epcot, which might be France paper or water paper or space paper. So a lot of times people are like, oh, I need that Disney paper for my scrapbook. Sure, if you've got it, I will use it sometimes. Sometimes it's great, but there's so many ways you can use the paper that you already have to create layouts, all sorts of themes. So I will show you kind of my process. Sometimes I come up with an idea just by moving my pictures around. Sometimes I got to go to the experts. I got to go on Pinterest, or I got to look at an idea book or a CM virtual crop sketch. Some weeks I will have thought about what I'm going to do before I get going. And I'll show up and say, hey, I've been thinking about this. I want to try this idea. Other weeks, I'm going to sit down and not even know what our plan is for that week, what pictures we're using. I'll have nothing. And I think it's been really fun. It's been a good exercise for me to think about how I do what I do. Not every layout takes me an hour and a half. Sometimes they do. I don't mind spending a lot of time on my layouts. I can do fast layouts. I have done shortcut layouts. I love speedy layouts sometimes, but when I'm scrapbooking Disney, I'm doing it not because you guys need to see, or my grandchildren need to see another layout of It's a Small World, right? I have scrapbooked many volumes of Disney trips, and a lot of those things have stayed the same, but I love the process, and I hope that that comes through in these videos for you. So what we're going to do today, this is episode 0, and I'm going to talk a little bit about getting organized. It's probably going to be a lot of the same stuff that we talked about and did in episode 0 of series 1. I haven't actually gone back and watched that one, so I don't exactly remember what we did. Maybe some things have changed, but just how I get started with an album project. And then next week, we will start with layout 1, and I will call that episode 1. So this will be episode 0. So if you're looking for a layout, this might not be the video for you. This is going to be about getting organized, getting my project laid out so that I know how many albums I'm going to need. I did print 2,200 photos, which is kind of a lot. I don't remember how much we did last time. I think it was 1,600 or 1,700. So we'll see. This series 2 is going to be albums of a trip that we took in May of 2022 to Disneyland in California and Disney's California Adventure after my daughter graduated from college. So this was kind of her college graduation trip, she really wanted to go to Disneyland Paris. But this was still we were still kind of coming out of COVID, and that just wasn't in our budget. I still haven't taken her there. Maybe someday I'll take her to Disneyland Paris, because that would be a fun next project. Who knows? Maybe by the time this series 2 is over, I can save up the money to take her to Disneyland Paris. Although I think we're going to go to Tokyo Disneyland in spring of 2026. So hopefully that works out. So maybe that'll be the next trip, but it probably won't be for a year or two. So we'll see how I do with these theme park Thursdays. Can I do every Thursday again for the next 86 weeks, 100 weeks? We'll see. But I'm excited that you're coming along for the ride. And I hope that you will learn things that you can use in your own scrapbooks, and that you will find joy in preserving your memories and reliving the vacations and the events that have brought you joy in your life. All right, so here we go. Okay, so I gave you a little sneak preview of this in one of my previous Theme Park Thursday videos. It weighs 17 pounds and it's about 2,200 photos. 269 4x6, 13 5x7, and 2,000 4D, which are the digital size, right? So they're like 4 by 5.5. So much I got 2 thank you cards. And this entire heavy box of pictures, which I have done nothing. I opened this up to show you guys in the previous video, and then I've done nothing with it since then. All right. So the first thing to do, of course, is to order your photos. I ordered 2,200 photos. I probably started with 4,500 photos. Was myself, my husband, my 3 adult children, and my daughter's best friend that were all taking pictures. And we put them in a shared album, and I weeded them out. I was as ruthless as I could possibly be. It was very hard, and I still ended up with all of these photos. So the first thing I need to do is just kind of put these into some generic groupings of what goes together. And I don't remember exactly what we did. I try to take notes when you go on long trips like this, but I don't remember if I did take notes, and if I did, I don't know where I put them. So that makes it a little bit tricky. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with maybe 4 piles. I'm going to start with a travel miscellaneous pile. I'm going to start with a Downtown Disney pile. It is still called Downtown Disney in California. I'm going to start with a Disneyland pile and a Disney California Adventure pile. And then once I get that far, then I will take each of those piles and continue to narrow it down and see kind of where we get from there. I am not going to make you watch me do all of that, because my guess is it will take me several hours. Maybe not several hours, but I'll do a little bit, and we'll just kind of see, trying to keep my piles all here together. We'll just kind of see what we got. So this looks like, the Beauty and the Beast show. And one of the problems is, because there were multiple people taking pictures, and because of the way that my computer, I use a Mac, the way that my computer stores photos, it stores them by the title. And so if I'm taking a picture, and this I'm using, it doesn't even have a number on it, IMG 123, but my daughter's taking a picture on her phone, and her phone happens to be on IMG 123, then we're all going to be stuck. But okay, I'm just going to do Disneyland, even though some of these it might be faster for me to do these separate. Maybe I should do them separate. Maybe I'll do each folder kind of separate, because these mostly look like Disneyland, all of these. And so if I do all of these in their individual piles, then I could just kind of crisscross them. So this is just a miscellaneous Disneyland. This is Storybook Canal Boats, my favorite ride. This was a Beauty and the Beast show. This was a Sleeping Beauty Castle. So miscellaneous. This was Pixie Hollow. That must be Alice in Wonderland. Storybook Canal Boats. Sleeping Beauty Castle. All right, so I'm going to do this with, you know, maybe this envelope of photos. Maybe I'll do a couple, and then I'll come back and we'll do whatever the next step is. All right, so after probably about 2 hours, my sister called and I talked to my sister for a while, so that was fun. They weren't, you know, I didn't just sit here in silence for 2 hours, but I've got them sorted into 2 piles. So this pile is Disneyland and this pile is California Adventure. This pile is the Main Street Electrical Parade, which is kind of the main reason we wanted to go to Disneyland. It was the 50th anniversary of the Main Street Electrical Parade. So yeah, a lot of pictures. But basically what I've discovered is that it's really dumb to order 2,200 photos at once. And so I think my advice to you as I'm doing this project, this is going to take me hours and hours. So my advice to you would be, if you're doing a huge project like this, 2,200 photos, I wish that I would have ordered them maybe like one Disney day at a time. If I would have ordered, you know, the travel day in one batch and then day one in another batch. I mean, I don't think it saved me any money to order 2,200 at once. I'm sure that they thought I was mad anyway, nuts. But the prep time now for doing this project is going to be a lot longer because this is what I always do. I always order my whole project all at once and, you know, kind of go from there. But I'm going to have to sort through these photos multiple times. So like right now, I've got some divided up, like all of these are Cars Land and California Adventure, but there's other piles in here that are also Cars Land. And this is all Downtown Disney. And, you know, so I'm going to have to go through all of them. So what I'm going to do this next little bit is I'm going to make some dividers. So I do use usually the Creative Memories, the Power Sort box. I have more pictures that are going to fit in a Power Sort box, and I don't actually have an empty Power Sort box right now. But I have these little drawers that I've showed before that sit next to my desk, and I've put the inserts from one of the Power Sort boxes in here. I could probably actually fit one more in here if I can find another one. I'm going to use these. I just took the last little bits of the previous collection out. But I'm going to just make some dividers for now. These are not all going to fit in here. I've got the Disneyland pile is 9 inches tall and the California Adventure pile is 7 inches tall. So that's 16 inches. And this is only, well, this is like 15 inches. So I may just put like Main Street Electrical Parade or some of the things that are lots of things like in one. I'll put them in one of these and they can go in a separate pile. I saved my whole pile of all of these that I emptied out if they're like confetti, I guess. But I just like to take the insert sheets that come with our paper packs. You know, I save them and use them for all sorts of things. And I'm fortunate that I have enough of these old ones that were the cardstock weight. You could use any kind of cardstock. You can use the paperweight one. You could go buy a pack of 5x7 index cards, 4x6 index cards. You want them to be 3x5 index card. Well, I don't know what size index cards are anymore. You could use anything like that. Creative Memories does sell dividers, but they come in like a pack of 12, and I'm going to need, you know, several dozen of these. And I have all this cardstock. So I'm going to cut these into 4x6 pieces, and I'm cutting through 3, so I'm giving it a good little cut. So 4 and 4, and then yeah, I'm not going to actually fold out my arm. I need this to be at 6, but I know that the edge of my CM trimmer is 5.5, so I'm just going to go to 5, ballpark 5.5 an inch past that. Apparently I am pretty good at what I do because that was really darn close. I wish I could do it that way when I'm doing layouts, but I'm just going to cut. I have some of these that I used for the previous project. They're in a pile somewhere. I can find them. You don't need to cut new ones every time, but then I'm going to write with the pencil. So for instance, let's say I take my part of my Disneyland pile. And right here on the top of the pile, I've got Small World. So I'm just going to write with pencil, Small World. And then I can put all the Small World pictures in there together. And I'm going to have to go through Small World because there were several different things Small World. There was a show that they did on the Small World, like the facade at night, because it's the one in Disneyland is way prettier than the one in Florida. So like this one is Buzz Lightyear. I think it's called Buzz Lightyear Astro Blaster. So even though, oops, I pushed my mechanical pencil out too far and I broke it. So even though like right now I just have one picture, I know I've got more. So then like this is the exterior of Small World. So I think I may do that. Exterior, Small World. And I'll make that a separate pile. And then like I have all of these pictures of my husband and my daughter playing with their bubble wands. So I'm going to make that its own pile. And then after I get all of this sorted, then what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to pull out my phone, which, you know, right now is being used as a recording device, or my computer, and look through all my photos and figure out what order the pictures go in. Some people don't care. Some people will be perfectly happy. I'm going to do a Disneyland. I'm going to do a Disney World. I like to do mine chronologically. I've tried to not do it chronologically. I like to do it chronologically. So that's my next step. I am going to have to sort these photos. I'm going to have to go through them again because some of them I have a few random piles that like I didn't really know where they went, you know. I'm going to have to match those with the pictures on my phone. But once I've scrolled through on my phone a couple times, it'll be easier for me to do that. So that's my next step. You know, that was probably an hour and a half, maybe, round one of going through my photos. Again, 2,200 photos, like a normal person wouldn't take that long to do it. But I'm going to go through and divide them into smaller, more manageable things. Like Small World, I may end up doing multiple layouts. Cars Land, like I have all of these that are Cars Land. I could go through right now and divide these up. I don't know what's going to take longer. But once I have these little dividers, I don't have to have piles all over my table because they can all be horizontal. I'm going to pull out that little drawer and put everything in as best I can so that I can at least have them organized. And I may, in fact, well, sometimes I do things alphabetically. Like I have an ongoing layout album project, which is all my childhood photos. And my childhood photos are very different because, you know, I didn't get 25 pictures of every birthday. I have maybe 2 pictures of every birthday, 1 or 2 pictures from Christmas. And so I'm doing my childhood album more thematic, you know, not chronological, because I can't like justify a single page or a double page layout or whatever for 2 pictures. So I'm doing like one about my birthdays. I'm going to talk about my birthdays. That's way down the list of projects I'm working on. It's kind of there for when I run out of photos for whatever else I'm working on. I pulled those out. But for now, I'm going to go through and sort these again, sorting round 2. And yeah, then I'll be back and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so here we are again, a few hours later. I still have my whole big stack of California Adventure, which I haven't done anything with, but I have most of my Disneyland photos sorted into 4 of these little power sort compartments. And you can see I just made the little tabs, you know, Alice in Wonderland, Frozen Cavalcade, Dancing Michelle. She was doing a little dance. And then somewhere there's a Dancing Katie, Frontierland, Mr. Toad, all of these. So I don't know what order they're going to be in, but at least I have this done. I ended up with this huge thing. This is about 1 inch wide. This is all Main Street Electrical Parade. That great PhotoPass picture that we got. And then Storybook Land during the day. I have Storybook Land day and Storybook Land night. And then this one is the Small World inside. And then I have some Small World outside too. So I think that's a good start. This has taken me, 4 hours maybe I've been down here. But some of it I was talking on the phone and, like I say, don't do 2,200 photos at a time unless you're willing to spend this time. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of these pictures. Probably another day. I think I haven't had dinner. It's 7 o'clock. I haven't had dinner. So luckily I'm filming this ahead. Tonight is not, the night before this video needs to go live. Actually, this is Thursday. The last video just went live this morning. So I have a week to get this together, to get this video filmed for you. So we'll see what happens. I've printed out my my album planning guide so we can do some of that. I brought my old phone. I've charged it up so that I can have some place to look at pictures, even though I'm recording on my other phone. And we should be good to go. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, once I get all this, who knows? Maybe I'll post this episode 0 early. I still need to record the album flip through, which I'm hoping to go live on Monday, but maybe I can do this. Maybe I could do 2 or something, because this one hopefully won't be too long, because I'm going to snip out all this middle stuff. So this is Disneyland, and then this pile that's 7 inches tall hopefully will fit into 3 of these. And there's a little bit of space in this drawer, even when I get all of these little compartments in. It fits more than 6, so it's a little bit bigger than the power sort box. So hopefully I can fit all of these things in here and be good to go to get started with series 2 of Theme Park Thursday. So I'll be back when all of this is done, and we'll go from there. All right, 2,200 photos sorted into these 2 drawers that go in my little organizers that I keep on my desktop over here. I did not mean to use 2 of them. In order for me to use these, because these little cards are 6 inches tall, I have to take out the middle drawer, which is kind of a pain. I'd hoped to fit it into one and maybe a small second compartment, but I ended up having to make some little boxes. If you watched my box video a couple weeks ago, I just made some emergency boxes to store these in until I get going and go out. I want to consolidate it down to 1 is basically what I'm saying. A few things I did just keep in the folder. Small World inside. Main Street Electrical Parade is back here somewhere. Oh, it's right here. That's a lot of stuff in there. We did Small World after the parade. So the next step then for me, I've already gone through and I pulled up my, on my computer, I pulled up my Photos app. I have a Mac, and so it automatically arranges everything by date. Hi there, Future Nicole here. I realized as I was editing this video that at one point I said that my pictures didn't come in order because when they're on my Mac, they're sorted by name and not by date. And then just now I said they're sorted by date on my Mac. So I just want to say when I use my Photos app, they are sorted by date. So when I'm in the app, but on my Mac, in order to get them into Shutterfly, I have to export them from my Photos app into a folder on my desktop, which then, my folders are by default, I have them arranged by name. And maybe I need to try and change that. But that's why there's a discrepancy where I told you two completely different things about what how my pictures are sorted on my Mac. And so I scrolled through on my computer and I organized everything by what came first. You guys know how I care about, what did we ride first? So here we have, Beauty and the Beast show, and then we've got the Pooh ride, and then we bought Michelle sweatpants and Star Wars Land, Bubble Wands, Disneyland Night. So this first section right here is day 1. Well, actually this first little section right here is our arrival day, our travel to. And then this is Disneyland plus these 2 back here. And then this is California Adventure right here. And then this last section is Disneyland Day 2. And then this is California Adventure Day 2, plus a few last minute go over to Disneyland because it stayed open later. And then our last day we went over to downtown Disney. And then this is just some extra little cards and some random extra things that I have had already in here before I needed to use it for photos. So what's next? I showed you this in series 1. This is not my idea. I don't know who created this originally. Whoever did it, I think, did it on their computer and it was all pretty. And I had a couple copies of it and then I didn't know how to get more. So I just recreated it myself. I call it my album planning guide. Each one of these little blocks, you see there's a wide line and a skinny line. Between the wide lines is a double page spread. So it goes down here to 29. Each column is 15 pages. So Creative Memories regular pages come in a pack of 15. Let's zoom down a little bit. All right, Creative Memories regular pages come in a pack of 15. So that's what I have per column. Back in the day, they used to tell us, in fact, I think they still tell us, that you can put 3 packs of refills in an album. Maybe that's true if you don't do any wallpapering, if you don't do a lot of layering. I have found, they've also told us your album shouldn't weigh more than 7 pounds and that it shouldn't be any thicker than this part of your multi-purpose tool, which is not a lot, truthfully. I don't see how you'd make that. I mean, I guess that could be almost 3 packs of pages, but you know, who knows if this was an official rule, but that's one that I've heard is this little section. But I have found as I get older, that I don't like a really heavy album. I have albums that I had 50 pages in. So this is 45 pages front and back to get you to, well, 88. I don't know. It gets a little bit more. I don't know how I messed up the numbering, but you know, 45 pages front and back. I have albums that I have one that has 54 pages in it. That thing is a monster. It is so heavy. It's unpleasant to look at. You can't hold it on your lap. It's just too big. And so now I try to keep my albums more in the 30 to 36 pages. So that would be like 60, I don't know, what's half of 6, 60 to 70 single pages. And so I love to use these album planning guides. So now that my pictures are all sorted chronologically and arranged, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull them out and kind of look at each of my what I've got behind each tab and see, okay, this one, I want this to be my title page. That's a spoiler for next week. So I'm just going to write title page, and I'm only writing it on half because it's going to be a single page because obviously there's nothing on the other side of the title page. And then I have pictures. This is Katie and Aubrey traveling, and 6 pictures. They might get their own page. So that's travel to and Katie. And then you won't be surprised to hear that the next page, it's going to put these like face down right here. The next page is our travel to. We have pictures on the airplane and, you know, travel to so's. Now, I may, when I get here, decide that I don't want to spend a whole double page spread on this. I would like to keep this to 3 albums like we did with the last one, but I have doubled the photos that I had with, I think I had 1,700 last time, and this is more. But if you remember, the 3rd album last time was not very full. I could have easily put a few more pages in. The other problem, though, is that the way we did the parks, we did Disneyland. I didn't tell you this yet. We did Disneyland one day, California Adventure one day, Disneyland, California Adventure, and then the last day we did some downtown Disney. There's not really going to be a good place like to split that into thirds, and I like to split it in a logical place, so we'll have to see. I might just have to split it wherever it splits. We checked into our hotel and went out for chicken and waffles. So that'll be a double page spread. And then I've got our hotel. Actually, I think this, so I've got this picture of Katie. This is actually at the end. We got this little baby Yoda caramel apple. And then Alex, this is just a picture in his hotel. I don't know that I'm going to put these here. I might put this, actually, this is going to go in the back. I might put this one on this. You know, I live in Alabama. One of the things about living here is that we got cheap gas, and we got to California and the gas prices were not cheap. This was 2022. I mean, you know, gas at home was probably $3, and in California it was $6 a gallon. So my daughter took pictures that she put on her TikTok, Snapchat, whatever. I think it's Snapchat. I don't know. So I want to do that, but I also want to do this. But I don't know that I want this to be a full 2-page spread. So maybe I do put these two together. This is just our hotel. I mean, this is just a random photo of Alex, but it's fun. So maybe I do Darth Vader, and then I do gas prices, and then this page will be a single page. I called it So Close Yet So Far. I just think it's hysterical that they send me a reminder. Like, I know, Disneyland, I know. So this is just a random picture of on the street. Actually, I think that maybe needs to go in a different spot. But here's Michelle looking in the gate. Let us in, let us in. But you don't want to use your park ticket at 6 o'clock at night. So I think I'll do this one as So Close. And I think this one I'm going to take out and put this on the page where we're walking to Disney. All right, so then I got these. So I'm just going to go all the way through all of these pictures and figure out what goes where, get them organized, and then decide where where the natural splits are going to be so that I can plan it out. This is an unnecessary step, and you may not care about this. Maybe you have a more reasonable number of photos and you're pretty confident you can fit it in one book. Then this doesn't matter quite as much. But for me, I want to plan out how my album is going to be. And that's going to also tell me how many weeks this series 2 is going to be for this Theme Park Thursday. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to actually call this Volume 1, Version 1, because it will change. You guys know from watching last time that I move things around and I realize, oh my gosh, I forgot something. I also need to look through my memorabilia, and I probably should do that while I'm doing this process so that I can make notes to myself as I look at each individual pack of pictures. So let me pull out my memorabilia. I'm pretty sure I have a bunch of it. All right, let's move this out of the way for now. Actually, I think I'm going to pull out that smaller box from the back of the other one to put these as I have sorted through them and figured out where they're going to go, just to keep them from, being a pile on my table. Because heaven forbid I have a pile on my table, haha. And then I'm going to pull out, this is my memorabilia box. I've got a bunch of these. I bought these at Costco years ago. They came in like a 5-pack for $20, and I just label them with however. And then whenever I finish that scrapbook project, I take the tag off. Sometimes I use tape. But that way, when I come home from a trip, I know where to put something. And so all of this Disney, this is definitely Disneyland. 519 Disneyland, Texas de Brazil, Disney World, Michelle's graduation, our New York trip, our Minnesota trip. We did a lot of traveling in 2022. So these now can go back on the shelf in the pile of memorabilia boxes. I've got one for, I'm right now not on YouTube in my project that I'm working on at my scrapbook studio. I'm working on 2020. And so once 2020 is all scrapbooked, if there's any memorabilia that didn't make it in the scrapbook, probably means I don't need to keep it, and I'm pretty good to throw it away. So I do have boxes for my kids' school, some of the projects I haven't done, finished layouts, but mostly I use these for memorabilia, one box per year, except for 2024, the year that Michelle worked at Disney, and I went to Disney quite a few times. It has its own box just for Disney memorabilia. All right, so what I got here is actually not as much memorabilia as I would have expected. This is our PhotoPass card. This is the pin. We've already taken the pin back off of it. A crumpled up park map that probably lived in my pocket. The bag from the Marceline Confectionery, which this one's ripped, but this side looks okay. I may not use this, but I may use it as inspiration for the layout. And then just some park maps. This is not a lot of memorabilia for me, really. I didn't have any for the last scrapbook, but you know, usually whatever I can get that's printed in paper, I take. So, but it's really fun to have the park maps. I'll probably keep one of them whole, and then one of them I may, you know, cut up or, you know, open it up and put it on the page. So I'm going to put this back in here. I don't really know what to do about this just graduated, because this is awfully thick to put in a scrapbook. I mean, I guess it's not that thick, but it does kind of get bumpy, and I have a picture of the girls holding the pin, so I may not need to put the actual pin in. This might get a magnet and go on the side of my fridge or something. And same with the PhotoPass card. Like, this isn't us. It's not even like a Disney character, so I may not keep that. We didn't have tickets, I don't think. It must have been, you know, we have these military tickets, and this was our ticket, and then they tie it to your phone, I guess. I apparently bought something for $44.99 with 10% off. All right, so that's all the memorabilia. So that's not going to be that much to have to work in. And I think I'll do those at the beginning of the layouts. So I know at one point on one of these that I'm going to use the park map, because I have a picture of me with the park map. So now that I know what memorabilia I have and I've got my pile of pictures, I'm just going to continue on. You know, this whole process has taken me many hours. I've been doing other things. I've been watching videos and listening to audiobooks and talking to my daughter on the phone. And, you know, I've not just sat here and worked on it in one 8-hour block. I've worked on it little bits here and there. This is a huge project. I don't usually do this many pictures at once, and so it doesn't usually take me this long. Most normal people, it doesn't take this long. So, but this part's going to take me, again, a little bit longer, because I want to just go through and figure out. So, you know, for instance, Downtown Disney, I have this stack of photos. And so I will look, here's Alex again with a Darth Vader thing and just some random artwork. So this is probably a single or a double page spread right here. But when I get back here to, say, Alice in Wonderland, if I can remember where I pulled that out, I have a nice stack of photos, about 1/4 inch. And so I have pictures of us in line. And then I have pictures on the ride. And I may, oh, and I love this picture of Alex. One of my favorite pictures ever of him. Isn't he a cutie? So, you know, I may do two layouts for this. And I'll probably put into just in case, so that when I'm divvying up my albums, I'd rather err on the side of caution. But you know what'll happen. I'll get to the Main Street Liquor Parade and need a whole album just for that. So, okay, so I'm gonna do that, and then yeah, I'll come back, and I think that's mostly where we need to be to get started before I can start on the title page for next week. And I'm actually really excited to start on the title page. I remembered to print a few pictures that are 5x7. So this is my daughter, Michelle. You know her. This is my daughter, Katie's best friend, Aubrey, who graduated from medical school like the week after our trip. So Michelle had graduated from college. Aubrey was graduating from med school. And so we kind of combined their trip. And then they had this little picture in one of the gift shops that I took and blew that up, because I probably should have just bought the picture, but what am I going to do with a picture? I just need a picture for my scrapbook. So that's going to be our title page. But let me get this figured out, and then I'll come back and I'll kind of wrap up this video with where do we go from here, and kind of how it's going to look over the next 86 plus weeks. All right, so I've got my 3 album planning guides, very full. there is a chance that I'm going to need 4 albums for this project. I don't know why I care. I mean, I love to scrapbook. I love the process. I'm a creative memories advisor. My business pays for all my supplies. I don't have to take food out of my children's mouths. And plus my husband is a pilot and his hobby is to rent an airplane and go fly. So if we're comparing expensive hobbies, I'm the winner for being not the most expensive, I guess. But so I may do 4 just when we see. I mean, the first one is really long, and this is all kind of the arrival and then day 1. This one I did put days 2 and 3 kind of right here, maybe. No, it's volume 3. I'm like, that's not right. Yeah, so this is week California Adventure, Cars on World of Color. And then here is about where day 2 ends and day 3 begins. And then volume 3 is day 4 and then day 5. So we'll see. You know, a lot of these, all of these down here are single page probably that I can fit in somewhere on this, but that's going to fill that one up too. So, I mean, really it might be 4 volumes, and that's okay. And I've decided to use this classic blue Sparks of Magic. We had a black one. We had the Sparks of Magic. Oh, we turn off the light. We had a Sparks of Magic in black with the same fireworks design a year or so ago. Oh, well, a couple years ago, I guess, when Sparks of Magic was our collection, and I loved it. And I have one, I think 1 or 2 that I saved for my stash. But I needed something that I could do 3, possibly 4 albums. So I like to choose something that's current. I don't have anything in my stash that I thought to save 4 album covers for. So I've purchased 3 of these already. I'm going to go ahead and purchase a 4th just in case. If I don't use it, I'll just put it on my shelf at my studio for sale. But I think this is going to be a fun kind of celebratory themed. And a lot of my Disney albums are not blue. So this is going to stand out on the shelf. And I am going to do custom spines for these. So I may, in fact, do the custom spines now when I know I can get the classic blue cover or color. And then I'll have them ready. So that's it for the organization. I'm sure that I will have to go through and do some other organizing in between. But this gives me the framework for a very big project. You would probably not need to do this if you were doing a normal album. I don't do this usually for my family albums, or, you know, I mean, it's optional, but it helps me. And actually, I think I do use it a lot for my family albums. I know I use it for my family reunion albums. I like the album planning guide. So I will put a link to a Google Drive where you can download that album planning guide. Feel free to download it, print as many copies as you need, and maybe it'll help you. And if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. I won't have hurt feelings. If your system works for you, then that's fantastic. And you know, just we all have to try lots of things until we figure out kind of what works for us. So next week, if all goes as planned, I will be back with episode 1 of series 2 of Theme Park Thursday, and we will get this party started. All right. I'm excited. I appreciate all of you who've commented that you're excited. I'm glad you're going to be going on this journey again with me. So thanks a lot, and happy scrapbooking.